All right, guys, welcome back. So I'm doing some experiments I'm doing some testing where I'm testing all my different circuits. And I was first using this coil, which I made a while back. It used to be a really nice coil, but for some reason it's not working. I mean, I have continuity and I have resistance, but there must be a short somewhere in there because it doesn't work at all versus this coil, which I got from Sky. And of course, it works fantastically. Wait a minute. And I have a pickup side and a back EMF side, and it's flying. So I'm going to turn it off because I haven't secured the magnets the way I want to on that rotor. If you remember in the last video, one came flying off. Now I fixed that one, but I want to, excuse me, I want to make sure that they don't come off because I want to use this as a testing platform for different coils and different circuits. This is a beautiful coil. It has a pickup side and a drive side. And the pickup side works fantastically. This is a 120 volt AC lamp. Actually, it's 130 volt. Yeah, it's really weird. It's a higher voltage than the normal line circuit. But anyway, yeah, so I was testing different coils, and this guy, for whatever reason, is not working, and it really bums me out because I spent a lot of time winding that stupid thing. So I'm going to try different coils in here, find out which ones are working, which ones aren't. Going to do pretty much the same setup. I've got this circuit, which is the JL94 circuit, which is a great circuit. I'm still going to work on my my maglev, but I wanted to get some testing in. And also what I want to do today, and what I may do, is connect a bridge rectifier to this and charge up this SuperCap bank. So each one of these are 500 farads, 2.7 volts a piece, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. I think you get about, well, I'll charge it up to 12 volts. I got to take it out and make sure everything's okay. It just slides out of this 3D printed container. Yeah, 500 farads per cap. I love these SuperCaps. I printed this thing in like 1, 2, 3, in like 5 different sections and just glued it together because I didn't want to deal with I think I might print a better housing for it. But yeah. Let me, it's raining here like crazy. So it's a perfect day. I have Mondays off, so it's a perfect day for farting around. So stay tuned. At least this coil works. It's a bifilar coil. It's putting out a lot of power, or a lot of back EMF. Let me turn it off. Yeah, so that one works, but it's a bifilar coil. You see, I have it jumped. I'm going to try just using, because it seems that, yeah, I think I have a theory on why this guy's not working. There might be too little resistance in it. I'm going to try unjumping it and then just running this off of one and then hooking a load to the other coil. Stay tuned. Of course, there's one of Sky's coils. Works really, really well. So, and again, on the camera, it looks like it's going really slow, but it's not. Yeah, I cannot figure out what's wrong with this guy. There has to be a short in it. So let me put some more coils up there and see how they work. Stay tuned. Here's another one of my bifilar coils. Really good output. Again, it's spinning a lot faster. In fact, let me turn it off. Yeah, so let me try some more coils. Stay tuned. It's funny, so far the best coil is this beast right here, and it is a beast. This thing must weigh about a pound. And it has both the drive and the pickup or output, and it works really well. That's been the best one so far for this type of setup. All right, so stay tuned. It's ironic, the best coils, well, I better turn this off because that is flying. The best coils that interact with this type of setup are Sky's coils because they're wound so beautifully. I really have to take my time and wind some coils. I thought that's what I did with this one, and I did, but I just got this one from Sky as like a little present, which I thought was fantastic. And this one works as good, if not better, than this one. This one is kind of dangerous because I have to turn it off because, again, like I said, I haven't seated those magnets properly, but it doesn't produce a lot of back EMF. Excuse me, the way this one does. But it works fantastically. Watch. It'll pick right up. Oh, maybe not. Let me give it a little bit faster spin. There it goes. Now it's picking up. Yeah, I got to turn it off. I got to turn it off because it's flying. Yeah, so this one, and obviously this one work the best because they're the ones that were wound by Sky. This one's interesting because it has a pickup side. So I think I'm going to use that in conjunction with a, like I said, a rectifier. And I have a couple of nice ones. And see if I can't charge this puppy up. It's got like 0.5 volt on there now, so it's not too dangerous. But yeah, stay tuned. I'm going to try a couple of other ones. I might even try one of these little tiny guys here. These are kind of beefy. I don't know that they'll do anything. All right, stay tuned. I'm gonna try this one and see what happens. Ironically, that little tiny pickup coil works freaking great, putting out a lot of input and really making this thing fly. Again, the video doesn't show it, but I got to turn it off because, yeah, it's really weird how different coils, and I'm sure there's an electronic explanation, one that someone knows what the hell they're talking about can explain it to me. And it probably has a lot to do with resistance and ohms and things I don't know a whole hell of a lot about and don't really care. Well, I mean, I do care. I shouldn't say that. I only say that because I'm a dummy and I don't know. And so that's a defense mechanism. Anyway, enough psychology. Yeah, this guy works pretty damn good. Let's try some other oddball ones and see what kind of power I'm getting. I think I'll try this guy. It's pretty beefy. First, I'll try it on just one of the coils, and then I'll bridge the coils and see how that works. All right, stay tuned. All right, not bad for just one side of the coil. Not fantastic, but not bad. Everything is still... So let me try bridging it. All right, stay tuned. What I really should do is fix that so I can get this up to speed. So let me work on that for a second, and I'll bring you guys back and we'll bridge this guy and see what happens. Stay tuned. Yeah, so it's bridged, and as expected, it puts out a lot of back EMF, but it's not particularly strong. So let me try some other coils. So I guess today is going to be testing coil day. But I am going to eventually run this off of this, or charge this up off of this using, where is that bad boy at? Oh yeah, using this guy, because this guy is fantastic. I wish it wasn't cracked. Or maybe it's not. Oh, that's not cracked. That's just, he did it. This side is cracked, but it's still really good. I got to put some more epoxy on there. All right, stay tuned. Another one of my earlier bifilar coils that's jumped. It's okay. Again, on the video, it looks like it's barely moving. Let me turn it off. But yes, these earlier coils are okay. I'm going to try one of the very first coils I ever got from Sky. It's a bifilar pancake coil. And I'm going to hook it up so that it shows some output. Oh, and something else I wanted to talk about. These things are a lifesaver. These wires that have the crimped on ends like this. I've got long ones and short ones. Man, they are a lifesaver. I don't know why I didn't get those a long time ago. I got a whole bunch of them. They come like in a giant ribbon like this. And you peel them off of the ribbon. But what a lifesaver. And I got a bunch of smaller ones too. I don't even know why I got the smaller ones. But yeah, what a difference. All right, stay tuned. As suspected, that's a great coil. And there's the output. Really good output on both ends. This thing that I made comes in really handy for holding the coils. It's not centered very well, so it's not getting the full effect of the coil. Let me turn it off so it doesn't. But it works, and it puts out really good input, even though it's nowhere near centered. Oh, it's not too bad. It's right about there. All right, let me try. I think I've got a couple more coils to try. I did try this guy that has the iron infused PLA. Didn't work at all. Not sure what's going on with that. Of course, these coils are, this is a really heavy one too, and I have it jumped. Let me try it again. Stay tuned. I was mistaken. It does work. Works really well too. A lot of good output. I'm going to have to try to unjump it, run it off of one coil, and see if I can't get some output. Let me turn this puppy off. Yeah, this is when I was using hot glue to cover the wires, and it always ends up looking like a horrible mess. I don't know why I ever did that. Looks freaking terrible, doesn't it? Ay, ay, ay. All right, let me try and unjump it. I mean, uncross it and or unjump it and run it off of one coil and run the pickup side. Stay tuned. Well, that works, and it works really good too. Yeah, she's flying. Again, you really can't see it on camera, but I'm getting really good output from the pickup side, and it makes sense. That's a heavy coil. Yeah, it's really flying. I should actually put up a shield. Let me turn it off. I got to figure out how to protect myself. But yeah, that's a good coil. That works really good. I got to somehow get that freaking hot glue off of there. I know alcohol will work. But yeah, the pickup side works great. And the run side. Cool, man. All right, let me see what else I got. I have a bunch of freaking coils. All right, stay tuned. So this coil works great as a run coil. This was a failed experiment I did. It's a trifilar. And yeah, wow. That's really flying. So that's a great coil. But one of the windings doesn't work or something like that. Let me try hooking up uh, some output to this coil because I think it's this one down here that's messed up. Let me try hooking up some output just to see because that coil works really well. It's pretty heavy too. But yeah, it works really well as a run coil, and probably the pickup side is probably just as good. All right, hold on. Yeah, that one works really good. It's not such a failed experiment after all, because it's giving me really good run. I mean, really good. I gotta watch out. Let me turn it off. Even though I did double check all the magnets, and they are in there really tight with longer, excuse me, longer screws. I still don't trust it 100%. I started thinking the other day when I think it was Magnus Attractus said, "Yeah, I'm going to learn when I get one in the face or something." And he's right, because man, if I got one of those in the teeth, oh, you know what? Let me try one other coil that I got but this is a contender. This is a good coil. I got to figure out what the dealio was back when I made it, why I didn't I either wasn't getting continuity with one of these or something, but this works great like this. I should try putting another out. Yeah, before I do, let me try putting another output on here and see what happens. Stay tuned. All right, so here's where I figured out that there's something wrong with this coil. So I have the two lights on these two input outputs here. And on this third one, I have this strip of LEDs right here. So watch what happens when so everything works great, but I don't have this strip hooked up yet. But as soon as I connect this strip, watch what happens. The run still works fine, but now these two lights go off and this LED is flickering. I take it off. Why is that? I mean, it's running great, but as soon as I connect all three, I only get output on this one here. If anybody can figure that out, please let me know. Yeah. Something is either crossed with this one here or, yeah, I mean, that shouldn't have anything to do with resistance or ohms, or that's got to be a cross wire somehow. That's really weird. So these two input output work fine. As soon as I hook this third one up, it stops the output of these two, even though the input is still running fine. Oh, I'm sorry. What am I saying? No, this is the run coil. This is the output. Yeah, duh. And this is the output from the circuit. So as soon as I connect this output, it turns this output off, leaves this run alone. I disconnect it, this output works fine. So let me switch these and see what happens. So disconnecting this output, I connected the light to that one and it works great. So let's see what happens if I try to take a reading on this one. What the hell happened to my... Ah. Yeah, let me see if I can, where is the strip? Let me see if I can just put those there and see what happens. Whoops. All right, so let's see if you guys can see that. Yep, same thing. It disconnects those two for the output. So that must mean I must have one of these wires crossed, right? That's the only thing I can think. This thing is flying. This is a great coil if it wasn't for that. Unless it's just one too many windings, trifilar. But I've seen Sky do as much as 4 on a single coil. I'm going to have to try to figure that out. But this is a good coil. This is a good coil. Stay tuned. So interesting. It doesn't matter how I do this. So right now, the rotor's running off the center coil. And I've got the 2 outputs, one from the circuit and one from the coil. And as soon as I introduce a third output, the third output works fine, but everything else doesn't. Wait a minute. It's not getting a connection. Yep. That is really weird. That is really, really weird. Let me turn that off. Why is it doing that? All right, so somebody who's way smarter than me can tell me why that's doing that. And it doesn't matter what coil I use to run the rotor and what, so it doesn't matter what coil I use to run the rotor. As soon as I introduce the third output, it lights up the third output and shuts down both the coil and the secondary output light. See, I don't understand why it's shutting down the coil light. That doesn't make any sense to me. That shouldn't have anything to do with the coil. All right, stay tuned. And here's the last coil. That one works really good too. Holy mackerel. Yeah, that one works really good. I better turn it off. I still don't trust this thing. And not so much for the magnet style, but the whole housing. It's all just pressed fit. But this coil works really good. And again, it's a bifilar coil. So it has an output and an input. And it works really well. This is a great circuit. I love the JL94 circuit. All right, so I think what I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to use this guy with a rectifier and see if I can charge this puppy up and then run this off of that. Stay tuned. So I have the rectifier attached. As you can see, it's putting out 9 volts, which is pretty damn good. So I will now hook this to that guy. Let me turn this off and get it charged up. I could also, I wonder if I could run in series the output from the coil, from the circuit with that. I think I tried that once before and it didn't work. But yeah, we'll see what happens here. I'm not going to run it at full speed, but that'll work. Stay tuned. All right, so I dropped it down to 11 volts. And, oh, wait a minute. Why is the output not? Oh, that's because, okay. So I don't even, what a brilliant, that dude makes incredible circuits. I don't even have to jump that. It automatically, the circuit is automatically passing it through to the output of this guy. So let's see what we got here. So we got 2.79, 2.8. So it's going to take a while for, it's going to take a while for that SuperCap to get charged up this way. Maybe I should just charge it up with the power supply. I have that secondary 6 12-volt power supply right there which does a fantastic job of charging this puppy up. Let's see where we're at here now. Yeah, 2.87. Just leave that right there. 2.89. Well, it's charging it up. Here, let's turn it up a little bit. .9. Not really making that much of a difference. But yeah, it's funny because as soon as it's charging this, it looks like the output from the circuit is being either rerouted or disconnected. I don't know exactly how the circuit works underneath there. I haven't really looked at it. But yeah, that's kind of brilliant because as soon as I take this off, well, I'm not going to do it, but as soon as I take this off, I get the output from the circuit again. 3 volts, so it's not going to take too long. That is a beautiful sight. I wish you guys could see it the way I'm seeing because it's spinning like crazy. You guys are seeing it the way a camera sees it, the same way a camera sees an aircraft prop. I suppose there's probably a way I could change the shutter speed on this. It's a Samsung S10 or S9. I don't know. I don't really care about that stuff. 3.11. Well, let's let it sit like this for a little bit and see what happens. I'll bring you guys back when it gets charged up. Stay tuned. There it goes, running off the SuperCap. So I had to cheat a little bit because it was just going too slow. So I just hooked a power supply to it to get it to charge up to 12 volts. So now this is running off of not the power supply, but off of the SuperCaps. And there's a little over 12 volts on there. So I don't know how long it's going to run. It's putting out some really good output, but we'll see how long it runs for. Oh, I left the... Oh yeah, let's see what the output is in DC on the rectifier over here. Yeah, 8 volts on the rectifier. I mean, off of the output there. I don't know if you guys can see this. Let's move this over a little bit. Yeah, 8 volts. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. See that? I don't know how long it'll run for. Let's see what's left on there. And that'll kind of give us an idea. All right. Wow, there's still 10 volts left on there. So it's going to run for a while. That is really sweet. I love SuperCaps. Look at that thing. It's putting out killer output too. It's got a really nice speed going. And again, no power supply. See? Power supply is now hooked up. SuperCap. I got 2 banks of these too. I should run them in series. It could run for a long time. If I run in parallel, it'll probably burn the circuit out. Let's see what we got going here. If it's still... Yeah, it's at 9.8 volts. So I don't know at what point will it actually stop, like 5 volts. It's still going strong. 9.74, 9.73. So it goes down 1/10 of a volt just about every second. I don't know if putting the meter on there drains it faster. It probably does, but probably at such a small amount. That is nice. Look at that. 9 volts. Let's take that off. SuperCap. I got to print a better bank. It was funny because when I took it off of the rotor for charging up the motor and I put it on the power supply, it was charging up really fast and these were getting a little warm. So I turned it down so that it was more of a trickle charge. It still only took a few minutes, or actually a few seconds. It's still going really nice. Still getting killer. So on the camera, it's blinking out, but for me, it's a solid white light. Let's see what we got. And we're still at 9 volts. So I'm going to guess probably at 5 volts, it'll stop running. Let me take this rectifier off of here. Which worked out really well. Let's see what we got. We're still at 9 volts, 9.22. The speed has been pretty steady. Oh, I didn't even time this to see how long. Well, it's been going for about 3 minutes now, 4 minutes, maybe 5. I don't know. I don't really care about that. I should have timed it. But what I need to do is, no, I'll forget that. I was thinking about something else. Anyway, it's working really well. Let's see what we're down to. Still at 9 volts. So this is going to run for a while. I'm not going to leave, or I'm not going to continue to record because this is kind of boring. I mean, I love looking at rotors. And again, it's spinning a lot faster in real life. That red ring, or that red around is a solid red ring for me. Whereas the camera, it kind of looks like it's barely moving. This is a great coil. I love that coil. Of course, all the coils that Sky makes are incredible. Let's see where we're at. We're now at 8.9. So again, I'm going to guess that it's going to crap out probably at around 5 volts. So I'll bring you guys back when I think it's getting ready to die on me. Stay tuned. Oh, and before I bring you back, checking the circuit, still cold as ice. Nothing wrong with the circuit. So again, let me bring you back when it's getting down. Right now it's still at 8.7 volts. This is going to be a while. Stay tuned. So it's been like 10 minutes, and it's been more than 10 minutes since I last had you guys on, and it's still at 8.3 volts. I was testing the difference about pulling this back, pushing it forward, and obviously it does make a difference. It makes it, I don't think it makes that much of a difference in the speed. Makes a difference in sound. Still at 8 volts. I'm going to leave it where it was, which is about a 1/4 inch away. Yeah, that seems to be the sweet spot. You bring it back when it gets down to like 5 volts. Stay tuned. So it's at 7.9 volts. Thought I'd let you check in, and it's been 20 minutes. I think even longer. I'll bring you back again when it gets down to like 5.8 volts. Stay tuned. So I'm curious if anybody, so we're still at 7.5 volts and it's still going good. As I pull it back, the pitch of the sound changes. It gets a little higher. And as I push it forward, it gets a little deeper. I wonder, by pulling it back, will I drain the cap in less time? Sounds like when I pull it back, it runs a little smoother. But I'm afraid that the connection between the coil and the rotor will be lost sooner with the lowering of the voltage. It's funny because this is meant to be stationary and this middle part slides, but we'll leave it for consistency's sake. We'll leave it where I first had it. Let me see. No, it was actually closer. Yeah, I don't know which is better, closer or farther apart. I could run a test where I do it really far and see if it runs longer on the SuperCap than close up. I have a feeling that farther away is better. Not super far because of the drag effect of the coil. We'll just leave it right there. That's actually not the same distance that I started, but we're rounding out the 7 coming down. I'll bring you back. Stay tuned. Little Zen moment here with the rotor. We're now at 6.9 volts. I see it. It sounds like it may have slowed down a little bit. So stupid. Why didn't I tack it at the beginning? I could have then, oh well. I'm a kind of by feel guy. All right, let me bring you back in a little bit. All right, now we're at 6.7, and I did figure something out. The closer I go, the less the output from the coil output. Watch, that's close, that's far. I know you guys can see that difference. Close, far. So I'm going to leave it a little bit farther out. I'm getting more output there close. It's starting to significantly slow down now. To be fair, let me put it back to close. Okay, so now that we're going slower, the closer I get to the rotor with the coil, the faster it goes, even though it's going pretty slow now. We're at 6.4 volts. It's slowing down significantly now. It's still going, though. It's still going off of its own power. That's not inertia. We're going off of, so we're at 6.3, probably 6 volts off of the cap is probably the most. Off of the power supply, it's different because I can get more amps. Yeah, you can. I'm sure you can hear it now. It's still going, though. It is slowing down significantly, 6.2. So it could probably go like this for a long time. That's not really that fast, though. But if we're talking about just powering the rotor continuously, 6.14, 6.13. Oops. Oh, I hit it. Oh, it's funny if I speed it up with my hand because I hit it. I know I cheated. 6.06. Yeah, it's still being powered by the coil. And we're down to 6 volts exactly. 5.9. Yeah, that's probably it. I mean, it could probably go for a while more, but yeah, let's stop this. Well, here, let's see what happens if I speed it up a little bit. 5.93. It's pretty close to the coil. See if I can get just a little bit closer. Yeah, that's probably it. Even though it's going really well now once I spun it up. And that does make a difference. The speed of the rotor interacts with the coil and the circuit better when it's at a higher speed. But I would say 5 volts is probably the limit. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Ciao.